Vamadevaji, could you tell us about the importance of the study of Vedanta in India's intellectual tradition and why is it still relevant?
Yes, there are many interesting issues here. Often people today, particularly even students at universities in India, think that India doesn't have any great intellectual traditions, particularly like you have in the Western world. In my own study, it's very interesting. When I was younger, I looked into all the philosophies of the world, including the Marxist and the existentialist systems of modern India, even the phenomenologist, and then also Buddhism, Taoism, even Sufism, Christian mysticism. The system I found that was the most profound, rational, and complete was the system of Vedanta, Vedanta being the spiritual philosophy of self-realization coming out of the ancient Indian tradition, particularly the Upanishads. Other people may experience or have different views, but what I discovered is that India has a great and powerful spiritual intellectual tradition and a tremendous Vedantic literature, starting with Upanishads, Gita, Brahma Sutras, many of the works of Shankaracharya, incredible works like Yoga Vasishta. But even more importantly, that the Vedanta brought about the spiritual and cultural awakening also in modern times. Swami Vivekananda did not just bring the message of yoga to the world, he brought the message of Vedanta to the world. Vedanta is the essential philosophy of Hindu Dharma. It is the intellectual aspect of Hinduism. It is its rational philosophical system. Every Hindu should know the essential teachings of the Vedanta. And Vedanta is the teaching of unity. The individual self and the supreme divine are one in essence and in being. The consciousness within you and the consciousness that pervades the entire universe is the same. In modern times, we've had very great Vedantic thinkers and visionaries coming out of India and influencing the entire world. Sri Aurobindo was another great Vedantic sage, propounding a new yoga of evolution and world transformation. He was also a major figure in the Indian independence movement. Then even now, we've had great figures like Swami Chinmayananda and Swami Dayananda of Arshavidya Gurukulam, carrying on this Vedantic tradition. Vedanta requires that we clearly examine the precise meaning of everything we say, everything we think, and everything that we observe, particularly our own thoughts, our own ego even, and our complete movement of consciousness from waking to dream to deep sleep. And Vedanta teaches us to examine the nature of being, truth, and reality in the universe as a whole. So this Vedantic tradition is the essence of the Vedic knowledge, and it is the foundational mind, we say, of Dharma, and it has the deeper understanding of the universe as a whole that is attracting many scientists as well. So it's very odd in India today that in some of these institutions like JNU, they are promoting failed, limited, worn out philosophical systems like Marxism. Marx was a materialist. He had no understanding of karma, rebirth, no sense of any higher consciousness, no idea of self-realization, no understanding of reality beyond economics and the physical body. So it's always very strange for me to see the Indians falling or following after superficial Western minds when they have such deep traditions of their own. Another good example is Sigmund Freud. Freud brought about modern psychology. His so-called modern psychology is mainly caught in the subconscious mind. Human emotions and sexuality are what we call in yoga thought the two lower chakras. He doesn't also have any sense of any higher consciousness, cosmic intelligence, self-realization, yoga sadhana. The mind is still very much trapped in physical and social reality. Another good example of this Vedic teachings is Yoga Sutras, which is also in the same field of the greater Vedantic thought, teaching us how to calm and silence the mind to reach a state of higher unity or samadhi, and to realize that higher self or the Atma or Purusha. So it's very important that India reclaim its intellectual heritage and share it with the world. It has been doing that to some degree, but also that the Indian educational systems also do that. Bring meditation and Vedanta and yoga into the schools so students are learned to introspect, they're learned to be objective, they're also learning to honor their own traditions and to look beyond merely physical reality to the reality of the universe as a whole and the idea of a universal consciousness. So Vedanta is the deeper mind of India. Awakening the country, the culture of the youth, requires sharing that Vedanta. Swami Chinmayananda, whose 100th anniversary it is, did a wonderful job of that, sharing the Hindu Vedanta through universities throughout the country, and needs to be done more again today. Then instead of students making violent political protest or getting caught up in materialistic ideologies, they can discover that deeper self-awareness that is not simply a factor of the past, but it is the cutting edge not only of physics, but of biology, of all the new disciplines where we're looking to the reality of consciousness. That is India's great knowledge system and knowledge gift to humanity, this science of consciousness through the yoga and the Vedanta. And if that is revived, all social problems can be overcome, and also a much greater flowering of learning, education, development, and science, psychology, physics, spirituality can occur. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.